ya Congo manawa, Congo manawa yo Congo manawa. Congo manawa, Congo manawa yo Congo manawa. Congo manawa, manawa yo Congo manawa.
Hello everyone. So today I want to talk a little bit about my spiritual services. I understand that there's a little bit of confusion concerning the services that I offer, and I just want to make sure that all is clear, that you know what type of service you book with me, and that there are no misunderstandings. On my website I offer 4 different types of services. The first one is a general consultation and spiritual cord reading. Now I offer these in 2 different forms. The first one is live by Skype. They used to be 1 hour. I changed this to 1 hour and a half because I felt there wasn't enough time to actually get deeper into the details that occur during these readings. So I wanted to make them a little bit longer. The second form is by email. This exactly the same type of reading, only it is done by email and you will receive it within 3 days. The disadvantage is that you cannot ask questions directly during the reading. Now, I want to make clear that I'm not one of the people who will tell you you can ask so many questions after the reading and then it's done. I personally really dislike that. So any type of questions you have concerning the reading, you can always email me or message me and ask me about them. I don't care the amount of questions. Just don't drive me crazy. Okay, that's important. The reason why I want to speak about these 2 services specifically is because I noticed that there are a few people who actually think that you have to have an interest in Mayombe, the tradition in which I perform these consultations, to receive one. And this is not true, not true at all. It is a consultation. Just like when you go to someone who reads tarot cards or who reads astrology or geomancy, it is a consultation. The only difference is that I work within a tradition. Now, in my particular tradition and house, we work with Fititi and Kobo, which are the shells. There's 9 shells that we throw, and from these shells, we count them, and there are certain letters that we have received that are basically the messages for the client. Now, not all of the messages in these letters are always applicable to the client. So I always make sure with every little thing that's the case. You will always receive 2 letters, and besides that, there are always extra messages that appear to me through mediumship with my familiar and my personal spirits. Now, you do receive an answer whether or not the path of Mayombe is open to you. If so, you will also learn who the main Mpungo is, who walks with you. This does not, how do you say it? This does not force you to initiate, even though sometimes the reading itself may actually tell you that it would be wise to do so. It's not for everyone. And second, you will never be forced. The choice is on you. But that is just a minor part of these readings. So it's an extra thing. And even if you're not interested in Mayombe, I personally like to hear if a path is open for me, whether or not I want to take it. So it's just some extra information. I want to make that very clear, because that's exactly where I understand some people have doubts in booking the readings with me. It is just a consultation. The one big difference that I can tell you is that the Palo readings are not just spiritual. A lot of times they also handle very physical problems and physical things that are going on within your life. You might be sick and not know it. In the worst case, you might even have cancer somewhere and not know it. And from my experience, Palo is very, very powerful in finding out about those things. In the past, I had a few clients, sadly, that I had to inform about some physical illnesses, and when they had it checked with a doctor, which I always advise, it appeared to be true. So most often the shells don't lie. From my experience, I haven't really been wrong that much. Of course, it can happen. We all have flaws and we're all not perfect. That's why I always advise people to go to a doctor and have it checked out just to be sure. And don't worry until you do. Because yeah, I always hope I'm wrong. Sadly, in most of these cases, I wasn't. So it's always difficult as a reader to tell someone about physical illnesses. It's not a nice thing to do, but it's better that they know so they can actually have it treated before it becomes worse. So yeah, those are the main services that I offer. Next to that, I also offer a service which allows you to ask 5 questions, and I answer these questions by email within 3 days. This is just a normal reading. It's also cheaper than the other ones because you will not receive information about your spiritual cord and things like that, unless it is very important concerning these questions. And then I have a new service, which is purely the spiritual cord reading. Because I was approached by some people who asked me, hey Dave, I see posts everywhere about your spiritual cord readings, how people are positive about it, and I would really like to know about my cord, but I don't have interest in any consultation, which I can understand. So I decided to also offer a spiritual cord reading purely. So there you can still ask questions, and a lot of things will be answered by your personal spirits. And this service mainly will inform you about which spirits walk with you, which ancestors walk with you, which guides, and what messages they have, what desires they have, what wishes they have. And they will also talk about certain issues that are going on in your life and what the solution is for you to solve that. Most often, if your cord is out of balance or you have spirits walking with you who need elevation, as a big part in Espiritismo is about elevation, they will let you know, and they will also tell you what is needed to make sure that these spirits are allowed to elevate themselves. And this in turn will also help you and your family often when it concerns ancestors. So yeah, I decided to just offer that as a separate service. And then, yeah, one thing that I want to say more about that is that at this moment, as far as I'm aware, besides a few people, I'm really one of the few people that offers a spiritual cord reading online. I suspect that this is mainly because most people really like to do it in person, and often within Espiritismo this is done during a misa, a spiritual investigation during a misa, and which is also very good, maybe even better, because there are always multiple mediums present, so they will also be able to pick up more. I'm just one person, and even though I really consider it my specialty, because I have put a lot of time over the last years into developing my mediumship and into specifically reading people's cords, because it's just a love of mine. It's something that I really like to do, and yeah, it's also the main thing that I offer on my website, because it is something that is really near to my heart. I love working with my spiritual cord, and my personal belief is that it doesn't matter what type of path of magic or sorcery you follow, you should always have your ancestors and your guides as your foundation. That's why Espiritismo is such a big love for me, because that's exactly what this tradition offers. But you don't have to be within Espiritismo to have your spiritual cord read or to have a spiritual cord. A spiritual cord is not given to you by Espiritismo. There is no initiation in Espiritismo. So it is the spirits who actually already walk with you during this life. But this is something that I will go deeper into in the next video, because I'm actually planning on just making a video about that. As I said before, I'm basically one of the few people who actually offers this online, and yeah, that's basically it. I hope this gives you some clarity about my services and helps you to understand a bit more about what I offer. So this is one of the first videos that I will record today. I decided to actually record a few more videos every time I sit down to record, to make sure that I can consistently release videos every week, because over the last 2 weeks I didn't release anything, and I really try to release one video every week, but time doesn't always allow it. So I try to record more videos at once now and then release them over time. So I always am a few steps ahead. And so that's basically it for today. And I wish you well, and till next time.